angle there.
I love it. You know, we all need a good laugh right now, so I really appreciate the men and women in the behind the scenes that have come together to bring us a new segment called Finders Reapers, where the Grim Reaper, Stu here, is going to go through a list of UFAs out there, because there are several on the market, but more bargain steals, we were thinking. Somewhere that they'd be a really good fit, and why.
No knock on these players' abilities, of course, but we're in kind of a funky COVID-related market here where there's some guys that didn't find a chair around the free agency deadline. Still good players. You might be able to get them at a real bargain.
Okay, let's go through these bargain picks. Andreas Athanasiou is a name that comes to mind. Where do you think he could be a really good fit?
Well, I really think, you know, we got some recent news. Dallas is going to be less than optimal, less than 100% healthy up front with the news about Sagan's pending surgery, or actually recovering from surgery past. Athanasiou could be a real depth add. I don't think it would come as a surprise to anybody. He's been to 30 goals before. He's a proven 20-goal guy. And a guy, again, left kind of hovering in the ether, Jamie, between the club, Dallas, and Athanasiou. There's a very good chance. They've got 3.4 left in cap space, 3.4 million. There may be a way to come together on a deal, perhaps a 1, perhaps a 2-year deal for somebody like Athanasiou, where he could give them a little bounce up front. It'll be interesting to see.
And if for no other reason, a team should sign him so their play-by-play guy can say his name so many times, right? It's such a great name.
To be honest, it's really the reason I went there. I can't say Athanasiou too much in a broadcast.
It's wonderful. Well, a guy that I remember from Minnesota, his days with the Wild, is Mikael Granlund. I'm surprised to see his name still out there. You know, I know he underperformed when he went to Nashville, but there was a time when he was thought to be, you know, a really solid player. Where do you think he could fit?
Buffalo, to me, is a club that comes to mind. And again, Buffalo is in need of adding some depth pieces to give that upper tier, you know, some solid run support down below. And keep this in mind. 69 points, I think, was a career high for Mikael Granlund. You might know this well. You go all the way back to 2016-17 with the Minnesota Wild. He and Eric Stahl were on a line together where Granlund posted some career totals. So reuniting those two back in Buffalo, this might be akin to a show-me type signing, not unlike Taylor Hall landing in Buffalo.
Wow, lots going on in Buffalo. I like it. That could certainly be a fit.
It could work out.
How about Travis Hamonic? He's bounced around a couple different spots. Where would he really be a fit for a new chapter?
You know, I think this one kind of tugs at your heartstrings, or it's more a personal connection. Travis Hamonic, for personal reasons, has been looking to get back to his home province of Manitoba for a good long while now. So a depth defender, a guy that can be your 6th, maybe 7th defenseman or so, and he's content in the latter stages of his career to play a somewhat modified or even reduced role, but could still play higher end minutes from one night to the next. Travis Hamonic in Winnipeg might be a transaction that works as well.
I like it. You know, this guy has a really interesting story. Anthony Duclair was an all-star just last year for the Ottawa Senators. Then he really cooled off in the second half. He has chosen to represent himself. So he's still on the market and having discussions with several teams, but where should he land?
It does not look like Mike Hoffman is going to re-sign with the Florida Panthers. That creates a bit of a void where the Panthers are concerned. Would anybody be surprised, Jamie, if Anthony Duclair goes out and rattles off 20 goals next year? I don't think so. And a club like the Florida Panthers could certainly use 20 goals from a guy like Duclair. That might be a good fit where the club and the player are concerned. And here's an interesting kind of backdrop or context, all that. 11 million in cap space, plenty of space for Florida to get Duclair under contract.
Yeah, they have that space because, as you mentioned, you know, Mike Hoffman not there, Dadonov not there, so they're going to have to find offense from somewhere. I would like that fit for Duclair.
Okay.
How about Mike Hoffman? He's not so much a bargain steal necessarily. At least we don't expect him to be. He might still be the biggest name on the market right now, but where should he go?
How about Columbus? You like Columbus as
I like it.
There is just one forward on the Columbus roster last year that notched 30 goals, and this is a proven 30-goal guy. He's dynamic up front. You might be able to button a Mike Hoffman down. Now, I don't think you're going to tie him up to term, given the marketplace, but a one-year deal may be in the cards for a Mike Hoffman, and he may be willing to venture into, say, the $6 million range to sign with a club like Columbus, and there may be a good fit there. So That's one potential landing spot for a guy like Hoffman, but I think probably remains the most dangerous guy out there in terms of offensive punch, the most dangerous guy out there in terms of the unrestricted category, still available in the marketplace.
And we have seen fewer and fewer long-term deals because of the uncertainty, not only right now going on in the world, but also with expansion draft coming up and everything. So maybe 1 or 2 year deal might be interesting for him. Let's talk goalies for a little bit. Craig Anderson's still on the market. Do you see him fitting in elsewhere?
Well, Ryan Miller no longer an Anaheim Duck. Doesn't look like there's a fit there going forward for reasons yet to be determined. But I thought Craig Anderson made a whole lot of sense in Anaheim. Need some support there. Anderson is a guy that really, depending on your circumstances, could turn in serviceable minutes, solid minutes, if asked to play anywhere in a range of 25 to 30 games for you. I like Anderson to be a guy that probably tears down, 2/3 of those games in terms of wins for the workload. Yeah, you put a better team in front of him than what he's had with the Senators the past couple of years, and he could be really solid. Think about the body of work with a club like Ottawa in front of him. No knock to Ottawa, but I think you've got a more talented decor and skating staff overall in Anaheim. Probably a little more predictable where a guy like Anderson's concerned. It could be a pretty good fit.